Today I'm going to talk about helpful adaptations in the school environment for children with hearing loss. Adaptations to the classroom environment need to be considered individually for each child. Every learner should be able to fully access educational information in the classroom. When a child is found to not be eligible for support and services under IDEA, the school still has the responsibility to ensure access to school communication that is effective as it is for typically hearing peers. Learning at home is different than learning at school. In the home environment, people are within a few feet from each other as they communicate. When we discuss a classroom environment, this completely changes. The room is large, with the teacher more than a few feet away from the student, with a large amount of students present. The following classroom considerations should be considered if one has a student with a hearing loss in their class. Keeping the classroom door closed could minimize outside noise that may occur in the hallways. The teacher's position in the classroom should also be considered. Teachers should avoid standing in front of a window so that his or her face can be seen without a glare from the sun or outside distractions. All new directions, concepts, and information should be presented from the front of the room opposed to when the teacher is moving between desks or during a noisy classroom transition time. A routine can be especially helpful for students with hearing loss so the student can better predict what they should be doing or what will happen next. Raising hands and having students speak one at a time should be a rule that is strictly followed so the child with a hearing loss does not have an increased amount of background noise when trying to hear someone's question or comment. Summarizing key points is also a good strategy in case a student may have missed information that was said. Lastly, visuals should be utilized whenever possible. For example, writing key points on the whiteboard. Children with hearing loss should be assigned to classrooms that have acceptable acoustics. For example, a classroom with a noisy ventilation system or that is next to the cafeteria or gym would not be best for a child with a hearing loss. Adding felt pads or tennis balls to the legs of the chairs and desks will lower the amount of noise made by other students. Having education about hearing aids or cochlear implants could also be useful for a teacher. Checking to see if the student's hearing device is working is very important. If the child is old enough, the teacher can have the child check his or her own hearing device. FM units can also be used by teachers for students that benefit from this. Connecting all forms of technology, for example, smartboards and computers, can maximize the child's learning experience. Lastly, considering where the child sits is very important as well. Depending on the child, seat him or her closest to the front of the classroom or on one side of the classroom if he or she has a better hearing ear. The last tip that can help a student with hearing loss succeed in the classroom has to do with visual cues. As mentioned previously, allow the student to move to a seat that he or she feels most comfortable with. Adults should also be reminded not to speak with their hands or other things blocking the view of their mouth, for example, a mustache. This can interfere with cues that the child may use to compensate for their hearing loss. Student note takers can be used so that the child can solely focus on listening to lessons rather than having to multitask. Lastly, when using videos in classrooms, captions should be utilized.